All right, what's up everybody? Chris here from Southbound Motorsports, and I just wanted to talk to you guys. I've seen a lot of questions recently pop up about the difference between the Fox Instinct, the Garnier SG12, the Tech10, and the Tech7. So I'm not going to go into a super deep dive on these. I'm just going to kind of cover the basics. Personally, I've owned each one of these boots. And I'll tell you what my preference was at the end of all of this, as well as just kind of walk through some of the generic features of all these boots. Are great boots. Each one is a little bit different in its own right. We'll go ahead and start with this Fox Instinct. The Instinct is a very, very comfortable boot. It's pretty darn light. It really reminds me of wearing like a stiff hiking shoe. You can really feel everything that you're doing with your feet on your controls, and I do like the bottom of this boot. It grips really well, and the medial side of the boot has a lot of good rubber in all the right places, so you can really get a lot of traction on your bike. You know, you want to be squeezing with your legs. There's a hinge here in the ankle, as well as a plate right here, so that you won't hyper flex your leg backwards, so to speak. So it's going to lock you out right there. But on the downside of this boot, it's very, very soft. It flexes very, very easily. So that was one of the things that I found that I didn't like about this boot. It just didn't offer me the support that I need. I've broken both of my ankles several times over the years, skating and stuff, and snowboarding. So I found that I needed more support than this boot offered. But again, there's a foot for every boot. So moving on from the Fox Instinct, actually I'll show you the inside really quick. I like the buckle system on this. It's very, very intuitive, very simple. All you got to do is just get this little ball in the right place, and you're off to the races. Inside the boot, super comfortable. There's some good padding around the heel and your ankle interlock, so you're really going to hold your foot nicely down into the bottom of this boot. It doesn't have any Velcro closure up top, which allows the boot to flex and move a little bit more than usual. So that's this Fox Instinct. Up next, this is the Garnier SG12. SG12 is a boot that I had for a little while. I liked it. It offers a ton of protection with all of this hard TPU plastic. I see a lot of off-road guys that run this boot, I think, just for that purpose. This boot will outlast any one of these boots tenfold. But the problem that I ran into, I couldn't feel a thing that I was doing with my feet in this boot. I was constantly misshifting. I would shift down gears all the time because I wouldn't realize my foot was on the shifter. I had a hard time being sensitive with my rear brake when needed, but it also has a ton of good grip on the medial side of the boot, so you're really able to hold on to the bike nice. And the life of this boot is a lot of times where people really enjoy it because it'll last forever. This boot does have the Velcro up top here, so you get a nice tight closure. It again, all this hard TPU. It's an extremely stiff boot. Like, I cannot flex the toe of this boot at all. Again, you've got a hinge in your ankle here that floats a little bit to give you natural movement. There are no safety features like you'll find in the Tech10 and the Fox Instinct to prevent from hyperflexion, except for this little fin up here in the top will help support you a little bit, but there's nothing down low to stop you from over hyperflexing your knee backwards, so to speak. Opening up this boot, it's very comfortable inside. It's got a memory foam all around it to give you good support. As the boot breaks in, it's going to shape nicely to your leg. It's got a ton of padding around the ankle, so it really locks your heel into place, which is nice. But again, what I found with this boot, and there's a boot for everybody, but what I found with this boot was that I couldn't feel anything that my feet were doing, and in the end, it just wasn't the right boot for me. But by no means should you take my word for it and think, well, then it's not right for me too. You should definitely try it on, walk around in it and see what you think. So that's the Garnier SG12. Great boot, there's nothing wrong with it. If I was a woods racer, I think I would find a way to get comfortable and used to this boot, because it's gonna protect you from sticks and all the crap that you run into in the woods. So SG12. Coming up next, the Alpenstars Tech10 boot. In the end, this is the boot that I landed on. I really enjoy this boot a lot. It offers kind of a combination of the comfort and flexibility you find in the Instinct and the rigidity, stiffness, and protection that you find in the SG12. It's got several safety features. It's got a hinged ankle, and then it's got this blade system in the back here that prevents you from hyperflexion. The medial side of the boot has not quite as much rubber. It does still grip the bike well. I wish they would put some rubber through here so you could really hold on to your bike. I found that I wore through this inside rubber pad here pretty quickly, but still a great boot, nothing wrong with it at all. The free buckle system I like nicely, as there's not a strap directly over my ankle. There's one kind of below and above, and that allows for a real natural range of motion. I broke my ankles in the SG12 on the triple at the ridge, came up a little bit short, and I blew through. Just the way that boot flexes my ankle, it put me in a really awkward position, and I didn't find that with the Tech10, so that's why I ended up sticking with this boot. One of the biggest safety features about this boot is its inner booty, the inner liner. I'll pull that out for you so you can see it. So this boot has this inner booty, and these J-bars here give you a ton of protection from, rolling your ankles, as well as hyperextension and hyperflexion. So, you pair this with the boot, and you've got a really stout, robust, a lot of ankle support, which for me is great. I really needed that. I find this boot to be extremely comfortable. I hear some people say it's very bulky. I didn't get that impression from this boot. I didn't find it to be overly bulky at all. I found it to wear pretty nicely in terms of long-term ownership. The soles are replaceable, and these soles have a ton of grip on them. It's a great boot, and I really enjoyed this product while I had them. So that's the Tech10. Again, a lot of TPU, a lot of protection, but also still very comfortable, and a little bit more flexible than the SG12, but certainly not as flexible as the Instinct. Last but not least, the Tech7. This is the little brother to the Tech10. Has a lot of the same features, just not quite as expensive. These boots generally come in the 350-ish price range, I believe. This is a 4-buckle system, as you can see, as opposed to the 3-buckle found on the Tech10. Again, nothing wrong with that, but for me, this center strap right here, it just does something weird to my ankles when they flex. When I'm on the balls of my feet on my pegs and my ankles flex, I get funky pressure points because my ankles are shaped weird from being broken so many times, and that center strap right there seems to be the culprit. But this boot, again, pretty stiff, not as soft as the Instinct. I would say protection-wise, it's probably about on par with the Instinct. It has this blade system in the back to prevent you from hyperflexion, as well as a hinge in your ankles to prevent hyperextension. So opening this boot up, go ahead and pull it open, take a look at the inside of it. Oh, and the medial side of this boot, you have a little bit of rubber here. That's good for grip, and this is just hard plastic. Kind of makes it a little difficult to grip your bike when you've got a hard, slippery plastic against aluminum and other hard plastic parts. But that's just my opinion, of course. Velcro lock system up top, help keep the junk out of your boots. And looking inside the boot, it's pretty basic, nice padded foam liner that's sewn into the inside here. We got good foam around the ankles, so I'm assuming this boot will lock your heel in pretty nicely. You won't get a lot of heel lift and stuff out of it. Not quite as much protection in the toe box area as you might find in some of these other boots, but for the price, it's really hard to beat. This is a very, very popular boot, and a lot of people wear it successfully and ride at a very high level. So just because it is on the lower spectrum of the price range doesn't mean that it doesn't pack a ton of great features that would work for almost anybody out there. So those are the differences in the boots. I know it's very basic, but it should give you a general idea of, you know, what you're looking for and what you need in a boot. We've got a ton of this stuff in stock right now. So you want to come down. We got multiple sizeways in all of these boots. So come on down, and I would encourage you to just try as many boots on as you can. One boot that I wish I had to highlight here would be the CD Crossfire 3. I've heard amazing things about that boot, and I think it's a well-made product that offers protection at a reasonable price, and it's a good boot. So anyhow, there you have it. I hope that that's super helpful to you. Come on down and see us. We've got tons of sizes available. Southbound Motorsports in Lakewood, Washington. We're at 2724 96th Street South. That's Lakewood, Washington, 98499. Give us a call, 253-582-2288, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.